going on, guys, and welcome back to the BBN Report, where we talk all things college football and basketball. And I know I'm a little bit late getting this video up about Auburn being put on the probation for 4 years from the probe stemming from the FBI investigation into the Adidas and the pay-to-play scandal that broke out about 4 years ago. But that story broke when I was at work. I got home, took a shower, and now I'm making a video for you guys. And after this, I will be sitting down to record my preview video for the Kentucky Notre Dame game tomorrow for basketball. But surprise, surprise, the NCAA doesn't really hammer Auburn too much. I was kind of surprised by that. Earlier today, it did seem like the NCAA was going to announce the ruling into the Chuck Persons of the investigation into Auburn. But once again, somewhere that Bruce Pearl goes, lands on probation. Now, the same thing happened when he was at Tennessee, when he was let go of Tennessee, and Rick Barnes took over there. And, of course, doing the typical Rick Barnes thing, underperforming in the tournament. But I'm kind of surprised that, the Auburn was really only put on the 4-year probation. And I was really surprised to see that they were not put any kind of postseason ban. So that'll do something really good for Auburn. That'll keep the players at Auburn. That'll keep them from transferring. That'll keep the SEC being another team deep this season. When I first read that, I figured that they'd probably go on a 4-year ban. I've originally just seen the headline where it said they were put on a 4-year probation. So I kind of figured that would probably include a postseason ban. And I'm glad it does not include a postseason ban, because that definitely would not be good for Auburn, obviously. Keeps the players at Auburn, which is great to see. It helps the SEC a little bit more to stay deep for basketball season. But it's not really a surprise that Bruce Pearl goes somewhere and the school is within probation while he's there. Now, obviously, I don't think this has a whole lot to do with Bruce Pearl per se. I do think that more of the assistant, Chuck Persons there, who definitely did a lot of this initiating. Now, obviously, Bruce Pearl probably knew about it. He knew about it. And I'm sure he turned a blind eye and really didn't care because Auburn was going good at the time. So obviously he knew about it. But one thing I was really happy to see is they didn't vacate any wins away from Auburn. Every time it seems like when one of these comes out, they vacate wins. And I think it's literally one of the stupidest things the NCAA does is vacate wins. I really think if you want to deter cheating, and I know it really sucks for players that's on the team currently, but I really think you need to punish teams going forward than to vacate wins and blah, blah, blah for stuff that's already in the past and pretend like we don't have one of those men in black pens where, oh, that didn't happen. We obviously all remember those games being happening and taking place. Same when they vacated all those wins for Louisville there from 2010 to 14, acting like 50 million people didn't watch the Final Four national title game that year. Everyone just thought it was the stupidest thing ever. If you really want to deter cheating, I know it sucks for the players that's currently on the team, but you really need to punish teams going forward, in my opinion. So of course, I know that's probably an unpopular opinion. I know I'm probably the only one that really thinks that. But like I said, I was really surprised to see him not vacate wins. That's something the NCAA just loves to do. Now, in my opinion, the biggest joke of this punishment is the 2-game suspension for Bruce Pearl. I mean, what's the point of a 2-game suspension? That's literally virtually nothing. I don't understand a 2-game suspension. You might as well not even suspend Bruce Pearl at all. The 2 games he's probably going to serve are 2 meaningless games, more than likely, unless it's an immediate suspension and not just whenever they feel like serving the 2 games. I didn't read that much into it. Sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But before anybody goes on here and says, well, this is kind of ironic with the name, image, and likeness things we have going on now. Even if the name, image, and likeness thing was a thing when this happened 4 years ago, they'd still be in trouble because these were still NCAA violations. This was still a pay-to-play scenario. And I don't think that this is not the last punishment. Obviously, you still have punishments for Kansas coming, NC State, Arizona, uh, and a couple of other schools that were in there. I'm drawing a blank on all the schools that were in there, and of course we already got the Auburn. I think there's another one in there somewhere. So, but for those of you, if you forgot what all this was, 4 years ago or so, maybe 5 years ago, a story, I think it actually might have been 5 years ago now, a story essentially broke out that there was a pay to play scandal in college basketball involving Adidas, where Adidas representatives were paying kids to go and play basketball at Adidas branded schools and eventually sign with Adidas as a sponsorship as a pro. Now, this probably would have gone undetected for a long time now. Not only were they paying the players, also paying the families. This probably would have gone undetected, but eventually one day, one of the representatives, I think, got cut out, got pissed off, and then decided to go and tell the FBI what was going on, because obviously this is highly illegal. And there was a big old trial and everything about it. And a lot of them representatives are actually currently sitting in prison, believe it or not, for this. So there's a little refresher in case you forgot or didn't really even know about that. So it did kind of get swept on, I don't want to say swept on the rug, but it has kind of become a forgotten issue over the last few years. Like I said, they still got punishments going to be handed out, but Auburn's punishment, the fact that they didn't vacate wins or have any type of postseason ban going forward, you just had the no show clause for persons going all the way until 10 years, 2021. You got Auburn on probation. All they're doing is basically limiting their scholarships until 2025, and the 2-game suspension for Bruce Pearl. But the fact that the punishment was kind of light, and I was definitely expecting a lot more out of this. But this tells me that going forward, the other punishments for schools like Kansas and Louisville is not going to be that severe, in my opinion. So we'll see how it's all handled there. I do think that Kansas and Louisville are going to hit harder, along with Arizona, because they have a lot more evidence on them. Like, you have text messages from Bill Self. You have Sean Miller, I apologize, on wiretap talking about paying DeAndre Ayton. And so, obviously everybody already knows about Louisville paying the $50,000 or whatever it was to Brian Bowen to play at Louisville. So I definitely think that the punishments for those schools are going to be a little bit stiffer. But seeing how they punished Auburn, I definitely think that you're not going to see wins vacated or postseason bans. So that's definitely one thing to really keep an eye out going forward. What was I going to say? Completely blanked. What I was going to say, guys. But yeah, I can't remember the last topic I was going to say now. So I'll go ahead and I'll catch you guys in the next one. And later tonight, I will have my preview of the Kentucky Notre Dame game up. As soon as I stop recording and start uploading this video, I'm going to start recording that video. So expect that to follow this one. And I'll go ahead and I'll catch you guys in the next one.